Hey guys, Thomas Jr. here, aka Mustached, and I'm here to review the movie Trevor the Musical. If you end up enjoying this full review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. The first will head you over to my petition, second to my Patreon, third to my PayPal, and fourth to my Discord server. Any donations to my Patreon or PayPal are greatly appreciated and help support me and the channel, and shelling will be reminded at the end of the review. With that out of the way, let's get into Trevor the Musical. So, consider this a semi-surprise for me, as of something out of Disney Plus of this musical that I've not seen any trailers of. Apparently this is something that's been in the works for quite a while, but I guess Disney just picked it up out of somewhere, I'm assuming. But again, consider me semi-surprised, because this particular story opens and is about a openly, or, well, not openly, but a closeted, let's say, for the sake of most of the plot and story, gay character. So, technically speaking, as far as I'm aware, this is Disney's official first live-action gay character to be featured in a Disney movie. They finally did it. They finally got there, guys. After years, they finally had their first main character that's gay. So here we are. He can now join the likes of Luce, our first openly bisexual character, as well as Amity, her sweetheart of also herself, Amity, being a lesbian. So, you know, Disney continues to show that it's progressing in a way without promoting the movie in any way. So I'm kind of on the fence about that. You know, considering that I seriously stumbled upon this from just fumbling around with no sense of anything. Anyway, so of course, this movie follows Trevor, a young 13-ish-year-old character living in the earlier years of his life. In the year, I believe, earlier in the 19-something-rathers. Let's see if I can get a year here. I'm scrolling through the IMDb, and it's not helping me with that much. So, this is, you know, of a earlier year. I'll just leave it at that. And of course, with that, Trevor is struggling with himself, finding musical interest to be of one Diana, I don't remember her last name, Diana Ross, and going to school and eventually gaining a crush on a other boy named Pinky. His name is that, based off of his father doing some pretty messed up stuff or whatever. Anyway, so his parents are very into the news. This is back when a president died, so this is like back in the day. I think it was I forget what president it is, and I didn't take notes on this, so I do apologize if it does sound like I'm rambling a bit here. But point being is that they are pretty much indulged in keeping to that little sphere of the world. while Trevor monologues through saying that he wants to be in a bigger spotlight, that he wants to be in a more pronounced, sort of follow in the footsteps in his own way of the idol he follows in Diana Ross, of a musical talent. So during school, he gains this crush where he's on Pinky, as I mentioned, this more athletic, slightly older teen based off of, or I guess, I don't know their ages specifically, but nonetheless, point being is that he has a crush, and he doesn't even know how to sort of get across these new feelings as someone who's going through puberty and someone who's, starting to discover they can even get crushes, and all these other students as well are entering that phase. So in particular, he has a crush on another young boy, or slash teen, I should say, based off of their ages, and it continues to go through some pretty average musical numbers. I would say there's some pretty powerful, there's like one or two more powerful songs in here, but for the most part they're pretty, I would say they stick to a pretty average range of, yeah, that was a fine song that carries the tone and tells us what the character is thinking, or what characters are thinking when there's like pairs of students singing about a situation that sort of progress the story forward anyway. So as this is happening, Trevor knows that there is a play, or a talent show rather, that he can take part of and make less embarrassing, based off of some of the others, of these other four guys that are participated. Among them, of the four, is of course Pinky, the one he has this attraction to, and he's trying to make it a more suitable and lively performance rather than this joke of a thing that's for this talent show and people can laugh at it because of the dress, or the tutus that they make them wear. So that's sort of the era we are in. Anyway, so he goes through and tries to make it more presentable, and Pinky, for the most part, at least seems to be the first to be opting into the situation of, hey, we could actually make this better. And among the others, Jason, this other student, is the most suspicious of this as he's starting to observe and see what is happening and the transformation. And he even gets called the most in line with the new dance steps that Trevor is trying to put together with the cane and the hat and all this fancy footwork and whatnot. Meanwhile, we have other characters, young characters. Kathy, for example, is a young girl. She likes Trevor in a very obvious way. We have Franny, who has a crush as well, and we see that explored, and it kind of peter out as well by the end. Mary, who is in line with Jason of, like, she's getting more suspicious of Trevor, and eventually when it's revealed, she's like she, along with him, wants to reveal it to the school that he is indeed gay. And I'm just going down. So yeah, there are quite a few other students here as well. These are just some of the ones that are listed here. So anyways, they go through it, the beginnings of this, and as they're getting closer, they're also approaching this sort of, oh, let's go to this spot for this date thing that is a big deal back in the day. It's a makeout spot, as they keep alluding to. So, not wanting to, to play along with the accordance, Trevor tags along Kathy, and she's the one who's like, making it super obvious that she's interested. Pinky's there with Franny, and I believe there's one other couple there, Mary, and I think she goes with the one that I think she goes with Jason, if I'm not mistaken. And those are like the three pairs that end up going. This is before they are interrupted through awkwardness and trying to figure out what they're all doing there in the first place, because none of them are really prompted to kiss well, at least one of them is, but all the others are awkward. There's all this other awkwardness still among the others. So, the police go there and everyone scrams, but Trevor and Pinky get left behind and they're hiding, and this is the moment where Pinky alludes to, and this is where Trevor gets mistaken in thinking that Pinky likes him back in the same way. Pinky expresses that he has an interest in someone else, someone who is not Franny. So Trevor suddenly inserts that, based off of that, and since he doesn't currently say who it is, he assumes that it is himself, and those ideas start to fester in his brain. So he kind of scribbles this down on his notebook when they allude to this information being open but vague. So Trevor's notebook eventually, I forget how this happens, but it eventually comes into the hands of one of the other students, and then I don't even remember which student gets it first, because they do a whole musical number where they're passing it around, like this note around, or the notebook around with the words, and eventually everyone comes across it. Every student comes across it, including Pinky himself. And Jason hits him hard with like, see, I told you, man, this Trevor kid, he's a weirdo. And this caught me off guard because I didn't know that this was rated PG when I was listening to it. And now I know why it was rated PG. They explicitly use the word faggot. And I'm saying that in the context of what is said in the movie, just to be crystal clear. So yeah, that is a thing that happens. So that is what Pinky derives from this. So he's writing it, and eventually Trevor, after it being passed around some more and more, comes across Trevor's friend, whose name does not appear in the main cast, unfortunately. At least I'm not seeing it. I think Walter's his friend? It could be. If his friend is Walter, I think that's his friend's name. I don't know if that's him though, because the kid wears glasses in the movie and the actor doesn't, so I'm not sure. But let's just use that name for an insert name anyway. So his friend Walter ends up across the note, and he was the one getting Trevor in some sort of earlier trouble with like, oh, I have these magazines, and Trevor ended up sliding out one with men on it eventually. Anyway, so Walter has the note at some point in the musical number, and he brings it to he's trying to hide it. He's trying to prevent Trevor from hitting this hard-hitting truth, but eventually Trevor pushes in a way that is because their friendship is already wavering based off of earlier context of them not hanging out with each other as much as friends. So eventually Walter is like, fine, have it, whatever, I'm done trying to protect you. So, Trevor reads it, and he is absolutely devastated. To the point, and this is where the movie slash musical reaches its low point. As predictable, he rips apart the Diana Ross posters that he has when he's alone, and yes, it goes to the extreme, which, again, I did not know that this was going to be coming. He considers committing suicide. Now, this is where the Trevor Project comes in, is a title I remember hearing, or a project I remember hearing some time ago, and this is specifically for, like, prevention of LGBT youth through suicide prevention hotlines and stuff like that. Of course, he starts to take some pills, literally. I'm not saying that even figuratively, literally takes pills, but in good old, I suppose, luck, I don't know if it is luck, it probably is, the pills he took did not cause him to die of overdose of some sort of, like, whatever. Instead, he took a bunch of things that would, like, remove a headache. I forget what the name of it is, like an aspirin type thing, like pill. It shows him taking 2, but the assumption is that he takes more, or at maximum he takes 3, and the assumption is that he takes more past that point. But he's mostly singing one of I think 3 Ross songs in the movie that I'm aware of. Anyway, so he ends up in the hospital, not feeling particularly well, but, alive, so there's that. And he bumps into a male nurse, and this particular male nurse is a slightly older guy named, I think this is the the character's name that comes in, named Jack. Jack, as this could be considered the convenient part of the movie, seems to indicate that he too is a gay man, and went through feeling the exact same things that Trevor was feeling at this time that he's feeling right now, that he or even more so, that he needed to feel invisible and play pretend and do all the other stuff, and then later on in life that he was able to open up and essentially be more of himself. So, through means of that, Trevor opens up slowly to the idea, and neither of them explicitly ever say the word gay, none of them, open up about that explicitly, but it's pretty crystal clear through everything else that they're talking about, that, Trevor was trying to commit suicide, and they never actually say that that's what he was trying to do either. They never make it explicit, that they just show that that's what, that was happening there. So show, don't tell in some of the dialogue here as well. Anyway, so Jack convinces Trevor that things will, come around and be better. That, you just gotta give it some time, and his parents even visit him near the end of this little segment, and you can see that the parents are trying, as they put it, as Jack explicitly puts it, to, trying to understand, trying to be there as much as they can possibly understand currently. It seemed like they were starting to put stuff together. So, Trevor's, back in the day, this would have been considered one of the lucky kids among LGBT, considering he both survives and gets parents that are supportive. Because, boy, I've heard the stories of parents who have kicked out their child for being gay. Or, I've heard of even more brutal stories of people literally hanging out a gay person on like a fence and then killing them or something. I've heard the darker stories about that. So, of course, this is being a Disney thing. We get to the positive outcome here. The most positive outcome you can achieve. Well, ending on a note that is, I would say, yeah, it's technically a positive, but it never ends with them getting together. Or, Trevor being with someone. So that's interesting. I find that interesting because, a lot of Disney movies, especially in the ones of animation, typically tend to end that way. But anyways, so Trevor goes back to school sometime later, and, people seem to be at least more accepting. Jason is still calling him weird and stuff, and then Trevor gives him the comeback of like, yeah, I'll be even weirder, and that's cool by me. And he even says that that's his own little moment instead of saying a line that is inspired from the singer Diana Ross. And thus, he helps his friend hook up with the girl that was interested in him. It turns out that his friend was interested in her, so he hooks them up together. A great gay wingman, or wing teen young man. Anyway, point being is that that's essentially after that, and after, getting back to school and doing all that stuff, the movie just sort of ends with the one final over the mountain song. I forgot the exact title of it, but this is where they all come back out and they do their bows and of traditional theater like performance of theatricals. They end it that way, and that was Trevor the Musical. So this is definitely something, again, I didn't expect to see out of Disney. Again, something rated PG, which the last PG thing is probably Jungle Cruise, ? That they did. I think Jungle Cruise is PG. I'm not even sure. It might be. But before that, the last PG franchise was Pirates of the Caribbean. That I remember for sure. So Disney doesn't typically do PG, as far as I'm aware. And obviously, as I just mentioned and alluded to throughout, Disney doesn't typically have a main gay character. That is, until now. So they ticked two boxes that I never thought they would. So consider me surprised. But again, not surprised that they did not promote this at all. I don't know. I haven't seen this promoted anywhere, and it's still pretty recent, so I'm not sure, if they'll push it any more than just having it be there, that, people can come across it like I did, or, whatever. In terms of score, I think it's a pretty solid musical/play, so, probably an average 7 out of 10. There isn't, I think there's one ballad-esque song, that one song that's very that is the song. I think everyone knows what I'm referring to when I say that type of song. That song that catches everyone's attention is the song that everyone is singing. I don't think there's a song of that magnitude in this musical, which, since it is a musical, that's sort of the thought process of a part of my objective lens is to look at the music and see how well written it is. And again, as I was saying, it's written solidly. It's solid. All the music is solid here. And like I said, there are 3 songs that are from the Diana Ross character, or something along those lines. And so yeah, pretty solid average movie. If you're in the mood to finally see Disney finally do it, I hope that my review gets out there. I hope that my review can, help some people find this, and maybe they can look it up and find the Trevor project in essence, and, just in case, because, of the whole suicide thing, if that is something that if you are ever concerned about, they leave information about that as well, and it's free, so, give that a go if that is something that you are dealing with, and if you are a young youth in that circumstance. But otherwise, that is my full review of Trevor the Musical. And with that, once again, the shilling shall come back. If you ended up enjoying this full review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. But first, we'll head you over to my petition that will help other smaller YouTubers. Second to my Patreon, third to my PayPal, and fourth to my Discord server. Please feel free to do all of that stuff. Patreon and PayPal will help support me and the channel. And until next time, everyone, bye-bye.